I do have a little bit of an issue with some of the testimony that was just presented. Unlike a hair dryer or any other utilization piece of equipment that uses electricity, this device is putting electricity back in. And it was mentioned that there isn't anything needed with the National Electrical Code. Folks, this is National Electrical Code. It is a substantial book of codes that is for the installation of electrical systems. We're plugging this into a receptacle. One we hear many times people call an outlet. The box in the wall is an outlet. Definition of outlet from National Electrical Code: a point on the wiring system at which current is taken to supply utilization equipment. Then we go to a receptacle, the device in that outlet box that we plug our cords into. Definition of a receptacle: a contact device installed at the outlet for the connection of an attachment plug or fed for the direct connection of electrical utilization equipment. What is utilization equipment? Equipment that utilizes electric energy for electronic, electromechanical, chemical, heating, lighting, or similar purposes. To say that a UL listing meets code for electrical code for installation is flat out wrong. There are multiple references in here for different pieces of equipment. In order to meet code, they must meet some type of a standard, like a UL listing or equivalent, but that in and of itself does not make it code compliant. That outlet box with the receptacle is meant to supply electricity. And to say we're going to do an end run around this code book without coming to the NEC, that is a group of professionals, to say we should have an exemption for this piece of equipment to be used in that way is just, we're way out ahead of ourselves and we're out in front of our skis. Article 690 in this code book is all about how to install solar. There is nothing in here that talks about an attachment of a solar system into an electrical system in a house or any other building that allows you to use a receptacle. If there had been somebody here from the company that manufactures these, I would have loved to have found out when they talk about its safety and how it gets this UL listing. I'm assuming that means if it does not sense electricity on those two prongs, it shuts itself off so that you can't come by, unplug it, and still have power available on those plugs, which would give you a shock. And then that would also then, if there's a power outage, I would assume, mean it shuts itself off so it can't backfeed the system. But we're assuming that at this point because there's nobody here from the manufacturer of the company that can answer those questions for us. The other question I'm assuming they've already figured out if it's being used is the phasing, because you can't plug something into the wall and just hope it doesn't cause problems. But the other thing is too, arc fault breakers and ground fault breakers. There are a lot of issues with those devices and what they work with. And so what are we going to have? If somebody installs one of these and it's tripping their arc fault breaker, are they going to replace their arc fault breaker to stop that problem from happening? I see this as a device or list of devices that we should actually be pulling an electrical permit and having an inspector come and check it out. We had one of the testifiers brought up that you can take it with you and you would have an electrician look at it and make sure it's done right. That's not the process of how we figure out if electrical installations are done right. The process to have that is you get an electrical permit and an electrical inspector shows up to make sure it has met the NEC for all installations. And the biggest thing that I looked at with this is, yes, it's the max amount that we're allowing through this legislation is that 1,200 watts, which would equal 10 amps. Well, what if as a homeowner I'm saying, wow, I've got this deck out here and a rail, and I could put 10 of these out here and use 3-prong expansions, you know, plug them all together and run my 14 gauge extension cord over to that one receptacle on the wall. I've just overloaded the cord, and I've just overloaded the wiring that's in the house going back to that breaker substantially. Getting this UL listing is a first step, in my opinion, to go to the NEC, the group of professionals who deal with electrical installations in your home, and getting it approved through here before we are encouraging people to put it in their homes. This is very similar to a generator. There are standards in this book as to how to incorporate a generator into your home wiring systems. They require a dedicated line specifically for that. Not just hooking it up to any circuit that's in your house and backfeeding the system. I get it, this has been out there for a while, it's being used, but in my opinion, until the NEC approves it and gives an exemption to use a standard cord and plug to backfeed a system, we should not be encouraging this into the state of Minnesota. I did speak with the author a little bit earlier. The only thing I can support here today is a vote without recommendation to send this to labor so that we could bring in the Department of Labor and their codes division to have a discussion on what their opinions of this is and what steps we should be taking.